The research vessel Stellar Horizon drifted silently through the Carina Nebula's outer reaches, its advanced sensors probing the cosmic dust for signs of the anomaly that had brought them 12 light-years from Earth. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the ship's observation deck, her dark eyes reflecting the distant stars as she reviewed the latest sensor data. "Another quantum fluctuation, Captain," she called out, her voice steady despite her excitement. "It's stronger this time, bearing 035. Captain Michael Torres nodded, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays surrounding his command chair. The Stellar Horizon was humanity's most advanced research vessel, built to explore the mysteries of deep space. But what they'd found here was beyond anything they'd expected. "All stations, prepare for closer approach," Torres ordered. "Dr. Chen, any similarity to the previous readings?" Before Sarah could respond, the ship's AI, Araya, interrupted. "Captain, detecting multiple objects emerging from subspace. Energy signatures unlike anything in our database." The crew watched in awe as space itself seemed to tear open, revealing sleek vessels that seemed to be made of liquid metal. Their surfaces rippled like mercury in zero gravity, reflecting the nebula's cosmic lights in mesmerizing patterns. 7 vessels, Araya reported. Configuration suggests a diplomatic formation, but their weapon systems are active. The alien ships surrounded the Stellar Horizon in a perfect hexagon, their movements precise and coordinated. A transmission cut through all communication channels, translating itself into multiple Earth languages simultaneously. "Human vessel," a melodious voice announced, "you have entered restricted space. Your presence here violates Galactic Concordat regulations regarding developing species. Prepare for inspection and quarantine." Torres exchanged glances with Dr. Chen. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries, but not like this. Not with beings who viewed them as primitives to be contained and controlled. "This is Captain Torres of the Earth research vessel Stellar Horizon," he responded. "We were unaware of any restrictions. We're on a peaceful scientific mission." "Your awareness is irrelevant," the voice replied. "The Concordat has monitored Earth for centuries. Your species' rapid technological advancement and unpredictable nature pose an unacceptable risk to galactic stability." Dr. Chen stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overtaking her caution. "If you've been watching us, you must know we seek peaceful contact. We can share our research, learn from each other." The response came in the form of energy fields materializing around the Stellar Horizon, cutting off their engines and communications. The alien ships began emitting strange radiation that penetrated their shields as if they weren't there. "Your ship's quantum scanning technology violates containment protocols," the voice continued. "It should not be possible for your species to achieve such advancement without guidance. This suggests unauthorized external intervention." Torres watched helplessly as his ship's systems began shutting down one by one. But there was something the aliens hadn't noticed, something that made him smile despite their dire situation. While the aliens focused on containing the Stellar Horizon, they failed to notice the quantum-entangled messages Dr. Chen's team had been sending back to Earth since they first detected the anomaly. Messages that contained detailed scans of the alien ships, their technology, and most importantly, their assumptions about humanity's capabilities. "Araya," Torres whispered, knowing the AI could still hear him through their neural links. "Initiate Protocol Omega. Send everything." As the alien ships prepared to tow them to who knows where, humanity's first diplomatic mission to the stars turned into something else entirely, a reconnaissance mission that would give Earth the intelligence it needed to face a galaxy that had already decided humanity's fate without their input. Dr. Chen caught Torres's eye and nodded slightly. They both knew that what happened next would depend on how Earth used this information. The aliens thought they were containing a primitive species, but they were about to learn that humanity had a few surprises of their own. Deep beneath Europa's icy surface, in a facility unknown to most of humanity, Admiral Helena Reyes stood before a holographic display of the Sol system. A quantum-entangled message from the stellar horizon had arrived minutes ago, confirming what Earth's leaders had suspected for decades. We were not alone, and we were not welcome. "Show me the Concordat ships again," she commanded. The AI system complied, projecting detailed scans of the alien vessels that had captured the stellar horizon. Their liquid metal hulls defied conventional physics, but that wasn't what caught her attention. There, she pointed to a specific energy signature. "They're using controlled quantum fields to manipulate space-time itself, just like we theorized." Dr. James Wong, chief scientist of Project Sanctuary, nodded in agreement. "Their technology is advanced, but not incomprehensible. The real question is why they didn't detect our quantum shielding around the solar system." The answer hung unspoken between them. For the past 30 years, Earth had been preparing for this moment. The public knew about the regular space program, the Mars colonies, the mining operations in the asteroid belt, the research stations on Europa. What they didn't know was that these were just the surface of humanity's true technological advancement. "Begin Phase 2, Admiral Rice ordered. Throughout the massive underwater facility, lights dimmed as power diverted to the quantum cores. In massive hangars, ships unlike anything the public had ever seen hummed to life. The Prometheus fleet had been built in secret, using technology reverse-engineered from fragments of alien wreckage found on Mars decades ago. But unlike the Concordat ships, which relied on brute force and overwhelming technology, humanity had taken a different approach. "Launch the quantum probes," Dr. Wong instructed his team. "Let's see how our friends react to a little human ingenuity." Across the solar system, seemingly innocent satellites and debris began moving with purpose. These were not the crude devices the Concordat believed humanity capable of building. Each one contained a quantum consciousness, an AI system that could think and adapt faster than any biological brain. Admiral Rice watched as the first signals came back. "The Concordat ships are following standard containment protocols. They're taking the stellar horizon to their nearest processing facility." She smiled grimly, "just as we hoped they would." In another section of the facility, Dr. Maya Patil activated the quantum entanglement chamber. Inside, hundreds of human consciousness pilots connected to their ships through neural interfaces far more advanced than anything the Concordat had seen. These weren't just pilots. They were one with their vessels, able to react and adapt at the speed of thought. "The fleet is ready," Maya reported. "All pilots are synchronized and waiting for your command." Admiral Rice took a moment to appreciate the irony. The Concordat thought they were dealing with a primitive species that needed to be contained. They had no idea that their actions had pushed humanity to evolve faster, to think differently, to prepare in ways they couldn't imagine. "Begin Operation Parallax," she ordered. Throughout the facility, quantum computers spun up to full power. The Prometheus fleet's engines ignited, but not with conventional thrust. These ships moved by manipulating the fabric of space itself, using principles that the Concordat thought impossible for humans to understand. Dr. Wong's monitors lit up with activity. "The quantum field is stable. The fleet is invisible to conventional sensors, just as we designed." The first wave of ships emerged from their underwater hiding place, rising through Europa's icy crust without leaving a trace. They were smaller than the Concordat vessels, but their design was revolutionary. Instead of trying to match the aliens' superior technology, humanity had found ways to work around it. "Send the message to all colonial defense forces," Admiral Rice commanded. "Operation Parallax is in effect. Phase 2 begins now." Across the solar system, hidden facilities similar to the one on Europa activated. Humanity's real space force revealed itself, not with a show of power, but with subtle movements that the Concordat sensors wouldn't detect until it was too late. On the main display, a simulation showed the Concordat ships moving away from Earth with their captive. They thought they were teaching humanity a lesson about staying in their place. Instead, they were about to learn one themselves. "How long until the quantum net is in position?" Admiral Rice asked. 30 minutes, Maya responded. The pilot synchronization is holding steady at 99.8%, better than our best simulations. Admiral Rice nodded, her expression determined. Begin the countdown. Let's show our visitors why it's dangerous to underestimate human creativity. As the Prometheus fleet moved into position, hidden by technology, the Concordat didn't believe possible. Humanity prepared to demonstrate that sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't the biggest ship or the strongest shield. It's the ability to think differently when everyone expects you to follow their rules. Aboard the Concordat processing vessel Eternal Order, Dr. Sarah Chen watched her captors with careful attention. The aliens who called themselves the Arbiters moved with an almost mechanical precision as they documented the stellar horizon's technology. Their liquid metal environment suits made them look like walking mercury, their forms shifting and flowing as they worked. Your quantum scanning technology, one of them stated, its voice resonating through the chamber. It should not function as it does. Explain. Sarah smiled inwardly, remembering Captain Torres's last order before they were separated. Play along. Let them think they know everything. We discovered it by accident, she said, adding just the right amount of nervous energy to her voice. Something about quantum entanglement and particle observation. The Arbiter's form rippled, a sign Sarah had learned indicated frustration. They had been asking the same questions for hours, trying to understand how humans had developed technology that, according to their rigid understanding of scientific progress, should have been impossible. Meanwhile, deep in space, the Prometheus fleet executed their carefully planned strategy. Admiral Rice's voice echoed through the quantum-linked neural network connecting all human ships and pilots. Phase 1 complete. Begin Operation Mindshift. The first hint that something was wrong came when the Concordat's long-range sensors began picking up thousands of quantum anomalies throughout their containment zone. Each reading suggested a massive ship or installation, but when investigation teams arrived, they found nothing. Commander Xereth of the Eternal Order received the reports with increasing concern. Impossible, they declared, their liquid metal form pulsing with agitation. Human technology cannot create quantum shadows. Their development level is thoroughly documented. But the shadows continue to appear and disappear, following no discernible pattern. Each investigation drained Concordat resources, forced them to split their attention. It was like trying to catch smoke with a net. What the Concordat didn't realize was that the quantum shadows were only part of the deception. The real human fleet moved through spaces between spaces, using principles the Arbiters had dismissed as theoretically impossible. They didn't try to match the Concordat's superior technology. They simply made it irrelevant. Dr. Maya Patel's voice carried through the neural network. Quantum consciousness pilots. Initiate deep sync. Throughout the fleet, human pilots merged more completely with their ships, their thoughts moving at quantum speeds. They didn't need to outgun the Concordat. They just needed to outthink them. The first real contact came when a Concordat patrol encountered what appeared to be a primitive human mining vessel. By the time they realized the ship's quantum signature was unlike anything in their database, it was too late. The human vessel split into multiple quantum states, existing in several realities simultaneously. Impossible. The Concordat commander transmitted. Their ships cannot. The transmission cut off as the patrol found itself trapped in a quantum mesh, their advanced systems confused by signals that shouldn't exist. The human ship hadn't fired a single shot. It didn't need to. Aboard the Eternal Order, the Arbiter's frustration grew as more reports flooded in. Their carefully maintained containment zone was coming apart, but not through force. Something more subtle was happening. The humans, one Arbiter theorized, they're not fighting us. They're changing the rules of engagement themselves. Dr. Chen watched their growing confusion with carefully hidden satisfaction. The Concordat had expected resistance, had prepared for violence. Instead, they were facing something their rigid hierarchical minds couldn't process: human adaptability. Admiral Rice's voice carried across the quantum network again. Phase 2 initiated. Deploy the resonance fields. Throughout Concordat space, quantum harmonics began to play across subspace. The frequencies matched nothing in their databases, followed no known patterns, but slowly, inexorably, they began to affect the liquid metal technology the arbiters relied on. The changes were subtle at first. Communication delays measured in microseconds, slight variations in quantum field integrity. Nothing dramatic enough to trigger alarms, but together they created uncertainties in systems that had been reliable for millennia. Their entire technological framework, Dr. Wang observed from his command center on Europa, is built on predictability. They've never encountered a species that could introduce true quantum uncertainty into their systems. The Prometheus fleet continued its work, never engaging directly, always staying just ahead of the Concordat's understanding. They didn't need to destroy the alien ships. They just needed to make them question everything they thought they knew about human capabilities. In the processing chamber of the Eternal Order, Sarah Chen felt the subtle vibrations through the deck plates. The arbiters didn't notice yet, but their liquid metal technology was beginning to resonate with frequencies it was never designed to handle. Frequencies that came from understanding the universe in ways the Concordat had never considered. "Tell us about your quantum scanning technology," the arbiter demanded again. Sarah smiled, genuinely this time. "Why don't you tell me about yours? It seems to be having some interesting problems right now." The real battle wasn't being fought with weapons. It was being fought with ideas, with ways of thinking that the Concordat had never encountered in all their millennia of enforcing galactic order. And humanity was just getting started. The quantum entanglement chamber beneath Europa pulsed with an otherworldly light as Dr. Maya Patel initiated the final phase of humanity's response to the Concordat. Hundreds of neural-linked pilots synchronized their consciousness with their ships. But this time, something was different. They weren't just connecting. They were transforming. Quantum state convergence at 98%. Maya announced, her voice steady despite the unprecedented nature of what they were attempting. Neural patterns are stable across all pilots. Admiral Rice watched as the holographic display showed the Prometheus fleet shifting into what they had termed quantum superposition. The ships didn't just exist in normal space anymore. They existed in multiple states simultaneously, a feat the Concordat had deemed theoretically impossible. "Begin the convergence," she ordered. "Show them what happens when you push humanity into a corner." Across Concordat space, their carefully maintained order began to unravel. The quantum shadows that had been harassing their fleets suddenly gained substance, becoming real and unreal at the same time. Human ships appeared where they couldn't possibly be, their quantum signatures defying every known law of physics. On the Eternal Order, Commander Xerath received increasingly frantic reports from their fleet. "The humans," one captain transmitted, "their ships are everywhere and nowhere. Our weapons pass through them, but they can affect us. This defies all established principles." The liquid metal walls of the Concordat vessel rippled with disturbed patterns as their sensors tried to make sense of what they were seeing. Human vessels now moved through secure quantum barriers as if they didn't exist, their presence simultaneously detected in multiple sectors of space. Dr. Chen, still in custody but watching everything unfold, saw the moment the arbiters began to realize the true scope of their miscalculation. Their liquid metal forms showed signs of agitation she hadn't seen before, their movements becoming less precise, more reactive. "You couldn't have developed this technology," an arbiter insisted, its voice carrying an edge of uncertainty that hadn't been there before. "Our monitoring systems would have detected it." "Perhaps," Sarah replied calmly. "You should consider that your understanding of human capability was flawed from the start." In the quantum space between conventional reality, the Prometheus fleet executed their most daring maneuver yet. The neural-linked pilots, their consciousness expanded by quantum entanglement, began to manipulate the very fabric of space-time in ways the Concordat had never imagined possible. Dr. Wang's voice carried across the quantum network. "Quantum resonance fields at maximum. Beginning phase inversion." The effect was immediate and devastating. The Concordats' liquid metal technology, based on rigid principles of quantum mechanics, began to encounter paradoxes it couldn't resolve. Their ship's adaptive surfaces, designed to respond to any conventional attack, found themselves trying to adapt to quantum states that existed and didn't exist simultaneously. They're attempting to lock down their quantum fields, Maya reported, monitoring the Concordats' response. But they can't account for the uncertainty we introduced into their systems. The human fleet's strategy wasn't to destroy the Concordat ships, it was to make their technological advantage irrelevant. Every principle they relied on, every assumption about how space combat should work, was being systematically undermined by human innovation. Admiral Rice watched as the Concordat fleet began to lose cohesion. Their formations, once perfect and precise, became erratic as they tried to engage an enemy that refused to play by their rules. "Deploy the quantum inverters," she ordered. "Let's show them what happens when you combine human creativity with quantum mechanics." Throughout Concordat space, reality itself seemed to hiccup. The quantum inverters, devices that could locally alter the fundamental constants of spacetime, began their work. Concordat ships found their advanced weapon systems firing into empty space, their targets appearing kilometers away from where sensors said they should be. "This is impossible," Commander Xereth transmitted to their fleet. "Their technology cannot be this advanced. We would have seen it developing." But they hadn't seen it because they had been looking for the wrong things. While the Concordat expected humanity to develop along the same technological paths as every other species they'd encountered, humans had taken a different approach entirely. In the Europa facility, Maya's quantum consciousness pilots pushed their integration even further. They weren't just controlling their ships anymore. They were becoming one with the quantum fabric of space itself. Each pilot's consciousness expanded across multiple realities, allowing them to perceive and react to threats before they even materialized. "The Concordat's tactical network is destabilizing," Dr. Wong reported. "Their quantum communication systems can't handle the level of uncertainty we introduced. They're losing their ability to coordinate their fleet." Admiral Reyes nodded grimly. "Prepare for final phase. It's time to show them why underestimating humanity was their biggest mistake." The quantum gambit was working, but it wasn't just about winning a battle. It was about demonstrating that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology. It was their ability to think beyond established limitations, to find solutions where others saw only impossibilities. In the heart of the eternal order, the liquid metal walls had stopped their usual flowing patterns. The Arbiter's technology, once seemingly invincible, now struggled to maintain basic functions as quantum uncertainty rippled through their systems. Commander Xereth faced Dr. Chen, their form flickering between solid and fluid states. "You could have destroyed us," Xereth stated, not a question, but a realization. "Your quantum inversions could have torn our ships apart at the molecular level, yet you didn't." Sarah nodded slowly. "That's not who we are. Humanity doesn't seek dominance. We seek understanding." Across Concordat space, the Prometheus fleet held their positions in quantum superposition, their presence a reminder of how thoroughly humanity had upended the established order. Admiral Rice's voice carried through the quantum network, reaching every human ship and installation. "Send the message," she commanded. "Let's show them what humanity really stands for." Through the quantum entanglement network, a different kind of signal began to spread. Not a weapon, not a threat, but something the Concordat had never expected. An offer of collaboration. The quantum consciousness pilots began sharing their understanding of reality, showing the Arbiters a perspective they had never considered. "Your civilization has achieved something remarkable." Dr. Wong's voice carried across all frequencies, reaching every Concordat ship. "You've created order from chaos, brought stability to countless worlds. But in doing so, you've forgotten something crucial: the power of uncertainty, of adaptation, of change itself." In the Europa facility, Maya watched as the quantum readings shifted. The Concordat ships weren't just receiving their transmission. They were beginning to resonate with it. Their liquid metal technology, freed from its rigid programming, started to exhibit new properties. "They're adapting," she reported, wonder in her voice. "Not fighting against our quantum manipulations anymore, but learning from them." Admiral Rice smiled. This had been the true goal all along, not to defeat the Concordat, but to show them a new way of thinking. The quantum inversions hadn't been weapons. They had been keys, unlocking potential that had always existed in the Arbiter's technology. Commander Xerath's form stabilized as understanding dawned. "All this time," they said, "we thought we were containing a threat. Instead, we were limiting our own evolution." The Prometheus fleet began a new maneuver, their quantum states aligning with the Concordat ships in a way that enhanced rather than disrupted. The liquid metal technology of the Arbiters started flowing in new patterns, incorporating principles of quantum uncertainty that they had once deemed impossible. "Your greatest strength," Sarah explained to the assembled Arbiters, "is not your advanced technology or your rigid order. It's your capacity to change, to grow, to learn, just like ours." Throughout Concordat space, a transformation began. Ships that had been paralyzed by quantum uncertainty found new ways to move, incorporating human principles of adaptability with their own technological mastery. The liquid metal began to flow with new purpose, creating forms that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. "We offer you partnership," Admiral Rice transmitted to the Concordat leadership. "Not submission, not dominance, but true collaboration. Imagine what we could achieve together." Dr. Wong's quantum sensors detected something unprecedented. The Concordat's quantum field network was reorganizing itself, becoming more fluid, more adaptive. They weren't just accepting human ideas. They were building upon them, creating something entirely new. "The universe is vast," Sarah continued, addressing not just the Arbiters before her but their entire civilization. "There are countless mysteries yet to be solved, endless possibilities to explore. Why limit ourselves with artificial boundaries when we could be reaching for the stars together?" In the quantum entanglement chamber, Maya felt the shift through her neural link. The Concordat ships were no longer trying to contain the quantum uncertainty. They were embracing it, using it to enhance their own capabilities. Human and Arbiter technology began to synchronize in ways neither side had imagined possible. "This is what humanity brings to the galaxy," Admiral Rice declared. "Not just new technology or different ways of fighting. We bring the courage to question, the strength to adapt, and the wisdom to know that true power lies not in dominance, but in understanding." The quantum network hummed with new energy as human and Arbiter consciousness merged in shared purpose. The rigid hierarchy of the Concordat began to evolve, incorporating human creativity, while maintaining the stability they had worked so hard to achieve. Commander Xerath addressed their fleet, their voice carrying a new resonance. The Concordat was founded to bring order to chaos. Today, we learn that true order comes not from control, but from understanding. The humans have not just shown us new technology. They have shown us new ways to grow. As the sun rose over Europa, casting light through the icy surface onto the hidden facility below, humanity had achieved something greater than victory. They had sparked an evolution, not through force or dominance, but through the very qualities the Concordat had feared: creativity, adaptability, and the courage to think differently. The dawn of a new era had begun, one where humanity's place in the galaxy would not be defined by containment or control, but by the endless possibilities that arise when different civilizations come together in true understanding.